So 2022 is coming to an end and 2023 is right around the corner. Let's talk about what's waiting for branded Despia in the new year. If you want 5% off any single or sealed product and want to support me and the channel, head over to tier0games.com and use code GALZO5 at checkout. So before we begin, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you are new as always. And I really wanted to take this opportunity closing out the year as sort of like what turned to be a branded Despia sort of like YouTube channel. Talk about what's coming in the next year and overall what is the future of our beloved deck, branded Despia. We've just seen another wave of release from things like Bestials and of course some new branded cards, branded Regain, branded Beast, obviously Cartesia, the Blazing Virtuous, whatever her name is, you know Cartesia, right? So all of these have been like a spark of new support in light of tier limits controlling the game, obviously, but also indirectly supporting branded as well, and Despia obviously in that together. So it's actually going to be a little over 2 years now with support coming out since Fallen of Albaz came out first on April 2020 on Rise of the Duelist, alongside a lot of other fusion monsters, the Dogmatica archetype in that set, and the whole lore sort of like kicking off in that set. And since then, we've got a lot of support. We got Despia in Dawn of Majesty, and then we got Albaz Strike that really took this deck to another level. But apparently, we're still getting support, and this is rumored to be the last piece of support coming to branded on Photon Hypernova, which is the new set coming out on February of next year. I think it's the beginning of the month. We already have the full card list. We know what the support is. So I want to kind of go over that and also a few additional cards that will be released sometime in the TCG that actually really give this deck a lot more power. We got 5 new cards for the archetype, which is a lot considering this has been running for more than 2 years now, and it's really going to be interesting to see how and if it will affect. Of course, there are other things that will depend on will it succeed or not, especially tier limits. Will they get hit and how much? And we are also getting 2 additional exceptional cards that I don't really know when will be released in the TCG. So let's dive into it and begin with the first piece of support we're getting, which is Bestial Baldrake. It's not, again, a branded support directly, but it is a new Bestial that we're getting, and it's a pretty good one as well. So it has the same clause as all the other Bestials. It needs to banish the light or dark monster, quick effect if your opponent controls a monster, and if your opponent special summons a Ritual Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster, you can tribute one other light or dark monster that you control and target one of those monsters and banish it. So it's a new Bestial that actually does something on the field, which is a quick effect and a pretty powerful one at that. And it's a very good piece of removal for the archetype. I think right now maybe seeing it as like a one-off in the deck, because Saronir provides a lot more utility, Magnamut searches for a lot of cards in the deck, and of course Druid's Worm can send monsters, but again, another utility for the Bestials. You can play more, and if tier limits don't get hit, you are much more likely to open something like a Bestial in your opening hand. And also to protect those very precious Bestials, we have a new card called Branded Inevitable. So it's a continuous trap card. You can of course place it with the Lubellion on the field directly from your deck. And what it says is that when once per turn when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Bestial monster, or in response to a Bestial monster, you can target one light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, you negate that effect. So essentially, Branded Inevitable allows you to protect your plays and protect your Bestials from going through. It guarantees the Bestials connecting with your opponent's graveyard, and it might be another piece of really good support against things like tier limits. So the next piece of support we're getting is actually called Branded Light. It's a quick play spell card, and it says you can target one fusion monster on the field or either graveyard, return it to the extra deck, so that's not exclusively to your monsters. Then you can special summon one Fallen of Albaz from your graveyard and one monster from your opponent's graveyard to their owner's field. So what does that actually mean? It's basically a compulse for fusion monsters without any other condition. You can do it from the graveyard or field, and then you can just follow up with another Fallen of Albaz. Is this actually good? You can of course set this card with Albion. This is obvious, but is this actually something that is worthwhile putting in your deck? I think this is like one of the cards that is like iffy, maybe a side card if you're going against a specific strategy. This of course can be used against your monsters, but is it really worth it to bounce your own monster from the field or from your graveyard? This is good for recursion, but I don't know if this card specifically will see a lot of play. Then we have two new fusion monsters. The first one is an Albaz fusion monster. Hopefully not the last, but seemingly this is the last fusion summon for Albaz, and it is called Lindworm, the Gunhammer Dragon. And it's a winged beast, funny enough. And it's a level 8, of course, 2,500 and 2,000 defense. It requires Fallen of Albaz and one Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster as material. So this card has two effects. When a fusion, synchro, exceeds, or link monster's effect is activated, you can negate it, then return one monster on the field to the hand. So this is exceptionally strong, and this is, again, another evolution of effects against things like Tearlament. So in Tearlaments, you know, if you negate and destroy something, which a lot of negates do, it gives your opponent a lot more advantage. And with Lindworm, it actually bounces back the monster. So it's a very strong negate, and it also gets rid of a body on the field, which actually doesn't trigger any graveyard effects. And during your opponent's turn, if this card is in your graveyard, as a quick effect, you can target one Fallen of Albaz and this card as well. If both are still in your graveyard, you special summon either one of those, and if you do, you banish the other one. So essentially, you can recur the Lindworm if you have a copy of Fallen of Albaz. This is going to be very interesting. I think this is something that the archetype really needed up until now. Unfortunately, it got it pretty late, but I think Branded sort of like is almost like juiced out of monsters and cards at this point, and not all of them are very good. But it needed an inherent monster that actually negates. And I think the cool part here is actually that you can send Nerval, Tri-Brigade Nerval, as a fusion material, and then search a copy of a Tri-Brigade Courier. So if you summon this off of something like Branded Fusion, you actually get two monster negates with one card, which is not bad at all and might actually be a fairly good strategy. And the last card is Grand Gaignol, the Finale Dragon, and this is referring to the finale of the lore, the end of the Albaz lore. So it's a level 8 light fusion, it's a spellcaster, which is pretty good, and it requires Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous and one light or dark monster. So if it's summoned, you can send one level 6 or higher light or dark monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. So that is fairly strong. You can send something like Albion to the graveyard, get an additional effect, but unfortunately it doesn't do anything on the field besides being like a semi-strong body, right? It has another effect. If a monster is special summoned by an opponent's activated monster effect, you can banish this card on the field or from your graveyard, which is really cool. Special summon one Dogmatica monster from your deck or one Despia monster from your extra deck, which is actually exactly Queritus. I think this is rather unfortunate because it could have scaled into something bigger. The Dogmatica monster effect from the deck is pretty cool, although some of them kind of lock you out of your extra deck, so that is a little bit weird. But could this actually mean we might get another Despia fusion monster? I don't know, but this seems very interesting to me. This is gonna be a beautiful card regardless, and probably like something like a Starlight. So it's gonna be interesting to see what this card can actually do. But after going through all that, we have two more cards that actually break Branded entirely. Those cards are Duality and Shadow's Light. Two cards that are coming out on Premium Pack 2023 in the OCG. Actually came out today. It comes out on the Shonen Jump festival that happens every week at the end of the year. So it came out today. Did you happen to see maybe that Branded Fusion has been limited in the OCG despite Branded not topping any events for a very long time because of tier limits. Yes, these cards are responsible for Branded being hit preemptively before the cards even come out because they are very, very good with the archetype. So the first one, Duality. Duality is a quick play spell card. It says that you can tribute one light or dark monster, special summon one light or dark monster with the same original type and level, but a different attribute from your hand or extra deck. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one light or dark monster in your graveyard, shuffle both into the deck, then draw one card. So essentially very similar to Chaos Space. So why is this card so good? One word. Something, for example, like Herald of the Arclight. So again, it works with a lot of other things, right? Because it doesn't even tell you what type of monster you summon, just summon a monster from your hand or extra deck. But if you consider something like Aluber the Jester of Despia, who's a dark level 4 fairy monster, and you take Herald of the Arclight, which is a level 4 fairy monster, but a light, you can just tutor it out of the extra deck with no cost because you already summon the Aluber. You can also tribute it as cost and actually dodge things like Impermanence, Chisao, Soliak, things on the field that negate, and gain value by summoning an Omni-Negate from your extra deck. Pretty crazy, and I really, really like the direction of this card. It's not a direct Branded support, but it supports very good archetypes that play around light and darks. This can also benefit dragon monsters as well. The other one is Shadow's Light, and Shadow's Light is a normal spell card that says target one dark monster your opponent you control as cost. Special summon one light monster with the same original type and level from your deck or extra deck. You can banish the card from your graveyard during your main phase of this turn. You can normal summon one light or dark monster in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only use each effect once per turn, and you cannot conduct your battle phase if you activate either one of these effects. So the Branded example for why this card is so good is something like Archlord Christia. So again, you target a Dramaturge of Despia on your field, then you just special summon Archlord Christia directly from your deck. This can work with a lot of really good things, but it really helps things like Branded because they revolve around light and dark, and their extra deck is full of cards like that. This does not only summon from the deck, it summons from the extra deck as well. This can basically get out something like a Shadal Construct, if I'm not mistaken, but the strong card is Christia for sure because it locks everybody out of special summoning, which is really, really strong. So these two cards are the main reason why Branded Fusion got limited in the OCG currently, but unfortunately, there hasn't been a single card from Premium Pack 2022, which was released a year ago, that has been printed in the TCG yet. So these are very good cards, but unfortunately, I think that I don't know when and if they're coming to the TCG at all. So the future is unclear about these two specific cards, but I think that if we're talking about the future of Branded, which is the title of this video, I can definitely say that once tier limits get significantly hit in the TCG, if ever, right? It can do some sort of a transition, but hopefully we don't get another power creep in cybernetic cybercode access, whatever the next set after Photon Hypernova. It's looking pretty strong with the monodome stuff, but if we don't get anything significant, Branded, because it's such a strong deck that keeps getting support for like 2 years now, it can actually bounce back and, you know, maybe do something once tier limits is actually gone to some capacity. So I really hope that we keep playing Branded. I'm going to keep going as long as the deck is alive because this is the deck I love the most. And I think still like getting support, and the little clause on the Finale Dragon that says Despia monster from your extra deck, still hoping for another one. Maybe we actually see more support. So what do you think about Branded and Despia, and of course Bestial in 2023? Are you continuing to play the deck? Are you hopeful for the future of Branded? Let me know everything in the comments below. And of course, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.